Hello everybody, it's Jeff with my parents' house, and today we're going to be unpacking a ceiling fan made by SNJ, and we're going to show how to install it. But first I wanted to show you what's inside the box. So I've already cut the tape off, and there's a book it comes with that I haven't read yet. And then there's, this is the ceiling cowling for it. It's inside this plastic bag. We'll just unwrap it real quick so you guys can see. It has kind of a wood grain look to it, and that's the look that it has. Okay, so there's those two pieces. Then there's a blade balancing kit and the mounting hardware and some wire nuts, and like I said, the blade balancing kit. Then there's a second tier under here. Okay, and in the second tier you can kind of see what's inside here, and then you've got your three blades. Okay, and we'll just kind of put those aside, and here you got your motor. Your motor's pretty heavy. It's probably about, I would say, maybe 10 or 15 pounds. And this is what your motor looks like. Okay. And let's see what else we got. We've got the post that it hangs from the ceiling on. And then you've got it's a glass bowl. And you've got your light assembly. And it's got a whole bunch of, here, I'll take it out of the package. And it's got a bunch of LEDs in it. You can see that. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll show you a close-up of that. Then you've got your remote control and the actual remote control that goes up into the fan itself. And then you have the bracket that goes up inside the ceiling. And last but not least, we got one other thing here. Oh, there's a shorter one. So there's a longer one and then there's a shorter one, and I'll probably end up using the shortest one. So let's go a little closer and I'll show you how it goes together. Now I've separated out the washers and the screws that are going to go into the blades when I attach the blades to the main body. There's 12 screws and then there's 12 washers. Now you'll notice when you actually look at the blade, there's two different size mountings. There's the larger mounting and then there's a smaller mounting. The larger mounting goes on the bottom of the actual fan assembly, and there's two holes here and there's two holes there that you're going to match up with the actual body, which is the motor of the fan. So now I've got all my parts all laid out. I've got all my screws put together. Good hint is to put all of your washers on your screws first, so then that way you can just move across the line and assemble everything all at once. Now this is the top part. This is the side that goes towards the ceiling, okay, because this is the part that rotates. The way you know what the bottom is by the connector that's on the bottom, and this little connector right here will end up going to the lighting unit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab one of our cooling fins, our fan blades, and we're going to line up the holes on the bottom like so, and we're going to find our first hole and we're going to screw it in. That's always the hardest part, is finding your screw holes first and getting the right hole designation, because sometimes the holes are offset in such a way so that on the first try you go, oh, the holes don't line up. But once you get your first blade in, you're in good shape. So I've got two screws in on the bottom, okay, on this one, and we'll tighten them up with our screwdriver. Okay, now we'll just do our next set. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to put all the bottom screws in first, and then I'm going to put the top screws in. So we'll line up our next set right here like so for our fan. And I'll grab 2 screws. Put the second one in. So now we've got, so far we've got 4 screws in. Okay. We'll tighten this guy up, these 2 guys up. Oops. Don't set your driver too hard, or you could end up cracking the blades. Just remember that. Oops. And now let's put our last one in. It's getting a little tight. So, okay. Hang on a second. Let me put this further down on my knee so I can put this last blade on here. Okay. So there's that. We'll line it up. Okay, line these guys up and put the screws in. Okay, this last one's a little bit of a bear to line up. Pull these screws out again. Because the tolerance on this is so tight that you have to have them properly lined up. Okay, hopefully. Come on. There we go, I got that one in. Now we got to swing this one over. There's a little resistance on this back other fan blade that I'm kicking it in with my knee so that'll go in easy. Okay, and we got this screw. Now let's just flip it over and we'll do the 4 screws on the top. Some of these holes seem to be a bit tighter. Now we'll put in the last 2 screws. This one, on this one, the holes are really tight. Okay. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll tighten these all up. This one is giving me a little bit of a headache. There we go. Okay, so let's get this last screw in. Okay, so now we've got that done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to unscrew this shaft up here. This is where your piece is going to go into the ceiling. Okay, that one's a little tight, so we'll unscrew it with this. Okay, and now we'll grab this short ceiling piece, open it up. Okay, and we'll unbraid this wire, and this is going to be all your connection wires. We'll pull, there's a little cotter pin in here, a little retaining pin. We'll pull that out, and we'll thread the wire through, like so. Okay, and then you'll see there's a hole right through here, and then there's a hole right here on the motor. What you're going to do is you're going to line those guys up, and you're going to find that hole. Okay. And let's see if we can find that. Sometimes it's hard to do. Let's see, hang on. Because what you're doing is you have to go between the actual wires themselves. So that's why sometimes it's hard to get it straight through on the first try. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put this pin back through here, this retaining pin. So then that way this doesn't come out. Okay? And now what we're going to do is we're going to tighten these two guys up. Not too much because you'll end up bending the ceiling pipe. So let's put this on here. Okay, and we'll do this. Okay, so now I forgot to mention we need to pull this down. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen it up. Okay. Going to let that drop. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull this pin out. And we're going to pull this collar off. Now what we're going to do is take this part, we're going to insert the wires and let this, you want to keep the gasket intact, so don't push too hard. And you got to make sure that it doesn't grab the lip. See, it's starting to come up. That's something you don't want to happen. Okay, you want to push down on it. You want to make sure that that nestles on the top like this. Then you're going to take this part right here. You're going to thread this through, like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put this collar back up like this on here. Okay, we're going to put our pin back through it, like so. And then we're going to bring our collar back up like this. Reverse our drill. And then tighten it up. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put the bracket up on the ceiling. And I've already turned off the power. See that? Oh, no, it's not live. That was just making a joke. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the screw, we're going to put it through this hole, okay? And we're going to put it up on the ceiling, just like this. What we're going to do is make sure that the wires go through the bar. Okay. And we're going to line up the holes on the ceiling, like so, which is so hard when you don't have a ladder that's high enough to be able to see. Okay, this is going to take me a minute. Okay, because I'm kind of at the wrong angle. So, okay, here we go. This should do it. Is it being a little bit of a pain? There we go. There's one. Okay, now we're going to line up the other one. This one's going to be a little more difficult because it's on the far side. So let me grab the other screw. And let's do this one. Okay. Stick it through. See if we can get it lined up. Okay. I got it. Okay, let's just center them up. I'll grab the trusty drill and let's tighten them up to the ceiling. Okay. Okay, so now we're tight. Now the next thing that we have to do is we have to install the remote control unit. Okay, so this is the remote control unit for the head, which is going to go on the ceiling. There's 5 wires on this, and basically what is, I'm just twisting them real quick before I put them on. You've got your neutral wire, which is your white wire. You've got a black wire, which is your line in your power. This is the one, don't ever touch your black wire in your house, especially if you're standing on the ground, because you'll get a massive shock. So you have to watch out. Now this says public or neutral, and this is going to be a white wire. That's going to go to your fan. This is the black wire. This is going to go to your motor, and this is going to go to your lights. So since my power is coming off on this side, I'm going to slide this in, and this right here is your remote control wire. I'm going to slide this in like that. Okay, so now we're going to hook it up, but they gave me these small wire nuts, and these small wire nuts aren't good enough to go on number 14 wire. I've got 2 wires hooked together because it's going to power this fan, and then it's going over to a fan in the other room. So what I had to do was I had to get a little larger wire nut, okay? And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this black one, and I'm going to wrap it around like so. Make it nice and tight, okay? And then I'm going to take this wire nut, and I'm going to screw it on and make it nice and tight. But you don't want to over tighten things, because if you over tighten them, you could end up breaking your wire, and then you're going to pull on this a little bit, and if it doesn't pull out, you're in good shape. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing with the white wire, like so, and we're going to twist that guy on there, just like that. Okay, and last but not least, this wire right here is the ground, so we're going to attach that to the actual ground wire that, I don't know, can you see this right here? We're going to hook this to this ground, okay, and I'm going to use one of their brown wire nuts to ground this, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push that up over the top, and we're done. Okay, so now we've got the remote control all hooked up, and the reason why I put the remote up here first is so that I can do it with 2 hands, and I can hold the wires and put the screw on. But now what we're going to do is we're going to remove the actual remote control, and we're going to put the fan into place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the fan here from the bottom. I'm going to make sure that all the wires are out of the way, and I'm going to slide it in. I'm going to turn it until it locks into place, just like this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring all my wires down, okay, like so, and I'm going to take the antenna wire and hang that down, and I'm going to slide the remote in. And now what we're going to do is we're going to hook up our blue wire, our black wire, and our white wire. Hello, I'm hiding behind this fan. But I'm going to show you now how to hook these wires up. The one thing is, I'm leaving these long so that you folks can see what it is. The black one is line, again, the white one is neutral, and the blue one is for the lights. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 2 blue ones, okay, and we're going to take those wire nuts that they provided in the bag, and since these wires are small, the wire nut should fit. So what we're going to do is we're going to twist this one on. Okay, so this is the blue. Blue goes to blue. Now we've got the white, and we're going to take the white wire here, and we're going to twist them together. Okay, and we're going to put a wire nut on those. Okay, put another wire nut on this one. And last but not least, and I can't stress this enough, you got to make sure that your power is off, because you can get a mean jolt, fall off the ladder, and hurt yourself. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take this last wire nut and you're going to put that on the black. And as I explained, I normally wouldn't leave these wires so long, but just for the ease of doing this, I want to just leave it this way so that you folks will be able to know where the wires go. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to dress these wires inside the actual cowling, like so. Here's your remote wire. You're going to put your remote wire inside. Now you've got some holes on the bottom, and what you're going to do is you're going to line up the two holes here with the two holes underneath, and we'll be back once we do that. Okay, so here we are. We've got a little more light on us now. I've turned the power back on, and what we're going to do is look here, and there's a couple of screws here, and what we need to do is link these screws up with the other screws on the bottom and twist it. Can you see now? There's one here and one here. What we're going to want to do is we're going to tighten those bad boys up now. You're going to need to use a really, really short screwdriver. So, but don't tighten it up too much, because if you do, you're going to cause it to bend. Okay, so now we'll do the other one. Okay, like so. Okay, now that's nice and tight. So now that I've got this thing all tightened up, we're going to install the lights underneath right here. And then what we'll do is we'll test it out. Okay, so the first thing we have to do to install the lights is unscrew these three little screws right here. So we got to pull these out first. Now, I could have used my power screwdriver, but I had this one already in my hand. So we're going to use this screwdriver first. Okay, and we're going to remove these three screws. Okay, so bear with me. Now I just want to mention, my wife, Nizma, is doing the camera work here. So we've got to give her a lot of credit, because she's having a lot of patience in helping me do this. Okay, so now we've got the three screws out. Okay, they're just about out. My pudgy little fingers can get in here. Okay, and now what we're going to do is, let me show you this. Right here on the bottom of this, there's like a little plug. Okay, and I don't know if you can see it. Let's turn it around this way so there's a little more light on it. There's this little plug right here, and then there's this plug that's over here on this. And what's going to happen is we're going to put this up on here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take this plug and we're going to plug it in. It takes a little finagling, but it's a little tough. Let's see if we can get that in there. There we go. Oh, there we go. Boy, the lights came right on. I had turned the power on. And so now you can see it's really, really bright. What we're going to do is we're going to turn the lights off so you can see how to screw this in. So here's the remote, and you just saw the lights came on. And that's not good. I can't work with the light on. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these two batteries, we're going to put them in the remote. So the first thing we got to do is we got to take the batteries out of this hard plastic. And sometimes that's a little difficult. So we're going to use our cutters here. We're going to put that in, we're going to try to, there we go. And we'll take the batteries out. Okay, and now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the back side off of this. So you just lift up on this little tab and you open up the back. And then what we'll do is we'll take this battery here, put it in just like that. And then the other battery, put it the back side against the spring. Insert these two things in the hole, like so, it's closed. And then this is the remote upside down, and this is right side up, and then we're going to turn our light off. Now I'll show you how to screw it in. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we've put in one screw. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put in the other two screws. Okay. Okay, there's that one. And now we just need to put in this one last screw. Okay, let me find the hole here. Okay, that's the other screw. Put this one in. When I'm really close to things, I can't see so well. Okay, so now we got this one in, and we're going to tighten that down a little bit. Okay, and now we'll put the shade on it, and okay, here's the shade. Okay, and it's made out of glass. I think it's made out of glass. Yeah, it feels like it's made out of glass. I'm gonna put that on. I'm gonna twist it on, and we're gonna lock it in, and there we go. Now let's see how it works. So we've got the ceiling fan installed, we've got the light installed on the bottom, and we've got the batteries in the remote. So we're gonna try the light, and there it is. And let's put the fan on low, make sure that works. Contact. The propellers are turning. That's always a good sign. Anyway, the reason I decided I was gonna make this video was I had asked my contractor about having 2 fans installed in 2 rooms, and he quoted me $600 to have 2 drops put in and actually have the fans put up on the ceiling also. That's with me buying the fans and with him putting the mounts up in the ceiling and running the wires. I was like, I can't afford $600 for something that I can do. So what I did was I measured twice, cut once. It took me about 2 hours, which I know a lot of you are probably going to say, 2 hours to put a hole, 2 holes in your ceiling, but I wanted to make sure that it was 100% correct and it was directly in the center of the room. So to put the 2 holes in and to put the mounts in, it took me somewhere about 2.5, maybe 3 hours. Then I had to run the wire, and I tapped into a light switch. I brought the wire up through the attic, attached both rooms, ran the wires down to where the fans were going to be, and did all that stuff. That took me about 1.5 hours, 2 hours. So basically maybe 5 hours total. Then what I ended up doing was putting the fan up. The fan just took me about 45 minutes to 1 hour because I had to assemble it and I had to put it up on the ceiling. So maybe a total of 5 hours, 6 hours to do the whole thing. And I saved myself $600, which I think is pretty good because $600 is a lot of money. So if you learned something from this video about putting up a ceiling fan, I ask you to please like our videos, please watch our videos, please share our videos, and most of all, hit that subscribe button down below. So until next time, I'm Jeff with my parents' house and AZ Camera Reviews saying please like us, please watch us, please share us, and please subscribe. Bye-bye.